In this video, we're going to talk about solving quadratics by graphing and by using the quadratic formula. You can follow along in your notes on page 11 of your packet. So how do I solve quadratics graphically? And what this question is asking is, when we graph a quadratic, how do we know what the solutions are? So if your quadratic, when you graph it, it'll give you a parabola. If it crosses the x-axis twice, it gives you two real solutions. And those real solutions are your x-intercepts. If your parabola crosses the x-axis once, or rather touches it and then bounces back, you have what's called a one real double solution. And what this means is you have one number as your solution, but it is repeated, so it's a double root. And then, if you have a parabola that does not cross the x-axis at all, you have two imaginary solutions. And these two imaginary solutions will give you a complex number, which we discussed in previous videos. So now, how do I solve quadratics with the quadratic formula? If you have a quadratic in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, you can use the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Let's look at an example of this. If you're given the equation ax squared equals 9 plus 7x, our first step is to set the entire equation equal to 0, and I'm going to do that by subtracting these terms, 9 plus 7x, from both sides. So that I have an equation in that standard form of a quadratic. And once you have this, you can determine that your a is equal to 8, your b is negative 7, and your c is a negative 9. And from here, we can take these values and plug them into our quadratic formula to find our two solutions. So opposite b, notice I say opposite and not negative because our original b is negative, so the opposite of our b would be a positive 7, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac let's write this on a different page so we can see it. All divided by 2a, and when I reduce this or simplify it, I have 7 plus or minus the square root of 337, which I got from simplifying what's under my radical, divided by 16. And then simplifying further, you get x is approximately equal to 1.585 and negative 0.710, which I get these values from plugging this into my calculator. And I find that I have two real solutions.